Israel Adesanya versus Jan Blachowicz is finally in the books after the Polish power prevailed at UFC 259. But going to the fight, we had a lot of questions. Like, what does Izzy do against the Polish power? What does the Polish power do when it comes to Izzy's speed? Before we go any further, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We do a weekly podcast about breaking news in the UFC and MMA. Coming into the fight, Izzy has always proven the haters wrong when it comes to the clear deficiencies in his game. Credit to him, he has been able to ward off Olympic medal wrestlers and black belt jiu-jitsu fighters. But Jan proved to be too much and played to the weaknesses of Izzy's game, and won. What did Jan exactly do in this fight? He implemented an ultimate defensive strategy that played to Izzy's game. The feints in this bout by Izzy were a bit over-exaggerated by the commentary team. Yes, Izzy was biting on a lot of the feints, but that's how Jan fights. If you go back and watch any matchup involving Jan, you will see him paw at his opponent's strikes and react to a lot of his opponent's movement. Is this a good thing? Maybe technically speaking, no. But Jan uses this as part of his game. He is able to parry shots and utilize his reach. For instance, he can quickly throw a jab and hit his target quicker because his hands are already stretched out a bit. This all being said, Jan made sure to not overextend and force Izzy rather to be the aggressor of this fight. For Izzy, he doesn't have the best outing when he's the person who has to initiate the offense. He rather excels at staying back and countering his opponent. The next thing Jan did, which was something Paulo Costa couldn't do, was checking leg kicks. Jan is much larger and durable compared to his middleweight colleague, but Jan was able to check a lot of Izzy's kicks. Izzy commented that his legs felt heavy, and I think these checked leg kicks were one of the reasons why. Izzy, in the fourth round, tried to do what he did to Whitaker and Costa. He slipped a lead left hook from Jan and proceeded to lean back and threw hooks. Jan, instead of trying to exchange, ducked under and went for a double leg takedown. Izzy uses the fence a lot to help him stay up and prevent the driving force of a takedown. The first double leg attempted by Jan in the open cage was successful. Jan previously was stopped by the fence in other attempts. When put on the ground, Izzy was put into half guard, where he mostly had his guard open. The way that Izzy was trying to get back to his feet was that he would rotate to his right and try to explode out. But the problem is that Jan was so adamant in holding him down that he would not let Izzy's leg or Izzy's knee to slip out. So because his knee is not able to slip out, Izzy is basically stuck there. He doesn't have any other way, or he wasn't trying any other way to get out of that position. So he would constantly open and close his guard, trying to see if maybe Jan would let up. The time that Jan did let up and let Izzy's knee through was when Jan instantly went into side control. Now, side control would give Izzy a better opportunity to stand back up, but the problem is Jan instead used his left arm to hook in between Izzy's leg. What does this do? Well, what it does is when Izzy tries to explode his hips up, Jan is already pushing him down. So now not only does he have pressure on the top, but he's also pressure on the bottom portion of Izzy. So what does Izzy do? Nothing. he did nothing. As the fight went on, we saw Jan's durability on full display. He did take blows to the head and volume to the legs. Even though he checked a lot of the kicks, there were still leg kicks that caught him fully or partially. However, also as the fight went on, we saw Izzy seem like he was not as willing to eat shots or trade in the pocket like he has done in his other fights. Perhaps the power at light heavyweight affected Izzy's game a bit more than at middleweight. Or he didn't want to initiate another grappling exchange and risk getting taken to the ground. Jan had a perfect game plan and the right tools to pull this off. Jan had a perfect game plan, and I think this game plan is really just tailored to him and his tools and his physical attributes. 1. Jan is able to stay very disciplined. He keeps his chin down at all times and overextends very few times. 2. Jan has a very long reach both in his arms and legs. This allows him to check and return leg kicks from Izzy if he tries to stay strictly on the outside. 3. Having a world-class jiu-jitsu game and understanding how to keep your opponents on the ground. It is one thing to take somebody down, it's another to keep them down. All of these holes in Izzy's game have been known well before this Jan bout, but none of the other fighters were able to take advantage of it. Why? It's just because Izzy is just that good. And that also is a testament to how good Jan is. There's no UFC fighter out there that has a perfect, complete game where they're excelling at the highest level at every single aspect of the game. Khabib, he might not actually have the best striking, he might not have the best combos, but he has the best or one of the best wrestling games ever in UFC. And he is still able to beat all these guys and be considered one of the best ever in lightweight and maybe UFC history. But does that mean that he is bad? Is he not one of the greats? No. Everybody has these holes in their game. It's just able to learn and work around them. It just happens that Jan was able to exploit those weaknesses and to his advantage and win the fight.
He defeats Israel Adesanya via unanimous decision. Let me get the scorecards for you here. He won 49-46, 49-45, 49-45. Now, I scored it 3 rounds to 2 for Jan Blachowicz. I gave Izzy the first, I gave Jan the second, Izzy the third, Jan the fourth and fifth. I did not give him any 10-8s. I guess maybe one of those last 2 rounds you could have scored it a 10-8, but quite frankly, felt like it was a bit of a stretch. But you know what? Who cares? Ultimately, the right guy won. It wasn't controversial. No controversy whatsoever. Early on, it looked as though it was a fight that was going to take place on the feet. As the fight went on, especially in the championship rounds, Jan started to use his size, took Izzy down repeatedly, and not only did he take him down, he kept him down and he inflicted damage, most importantly, because as we all know, a takedown, doesn't really do much if you don't do anything with it. But in this case, he got him down, kept him down, and inflicted damage. So in my opinion, I didn't see anyone scored in favor of Izzy Adesanya. I thought it was pretty clear. 3 rounds to 2. You could even make a case, I think, for 4 rounds to 1 for Jan Blachowicz. And in the end, the decision to not bulk up and be as big as Jan ultimately cost Adesanya. So big takeaways from that. Obviously, Jan deserves our respect. In my opinion, he's the rightful owner of that light heavyweight title. I thought Dominic Reyes beat Jon Jones last February, and then of course Jan beats Dominic Reyes. He's no paper champion. He's, to me, he's, in all honesty, I know officially he's not the lineal champ, but I consider him a lineal champ. Now, as far as Izzy is concerned, look, as he said afterwards, he dared to be great, right? He dared to be great, and sometimes when you dare to be great, things don't go your way. Unfortunately for him, tonight didn't go his way. But he took a chance, he moved up, it was a calculated risk, calculated decision, not to bulk up, to take this fight when you're on a roll, winning 9 in a row in the UFC, 20-0 overall in MMA, and it didn't work out. But if you ask me, his stock doesn't take too much of a hit. Yes, has he lost his first fight in MMA? Sure. But is the aura of invincibility gone? I mean, if you've been following his career prior to MMA, you've seen him get knocked out. Alex Pereira, Glory Kickboxing. Like we saw it. We saw him get knocked out. He didn't get knocked out tonight. He hung in there with the champ. Yes, he got out muscled towards the end, but I don't feel like his stock drops considerably. Takes a momentary hit, sure, but I don't feel like he's, not worthy of any praise or any type of, accolades or anything like that. The Jon Jones fight is gone. And you'll recall, go back to September after he beat Paulo Costa. I said, do the Jon Jones fight now. Jon has nothing going on at heavyweight as we wait for that situation to play out. Izzy has nothing going on at 185. It's the moneyest of the money fights to make. Make it right now. They didn't make it, and I don't see a scenario where it happens anytime soon. So he'll stick around at 185, and there's no clear-cut number 1 contender at 185, but there are options that are about to play out. In the next 6 or so weeks, we're about to find a number 1 contender. On March 20th, we have Derek Brunson and Kevin Holland. I'd love to see Kevin Holland fight Izzy. I keep wanting to say Adesanya. It's Adesanya these days. You get the point, the last style bender. I would love to see that fight. I would love it, especially if Kevin Holland wins, of course. Then in April, we have Robert Whittaker and Paulo Costa. Love that. Darren Till, Marvin Vettori. I wouldn't mind seeing Vettori, Izzy too. Darren Till obviously is someone that Izzy has had his eye on. So there are options. maybe not right now a clear-cut one. Obviously, Whitaker would make a lot of sense if he would beat Paulo Costa, but come mid-April, I think we'll have a number one contender, and we'll probably see Izzy back maybe, late summer, early fall, something like that. He likes to be active. Told me on Monday of last week he wanted to fight 4 or 5 times. Of course, he was expecting to win, but in the end, he doesn't get that second title.
If you liked the video, press a thumbs up. And if you want more, please subscribe to the channel. Do you think Izzy will come back stronger? Or will what Jan did to Izzy become a blueprint on how to beat Izzy? Let us know in the comments below.